Caribbean for Monday, March 23rd, 2015. I'm Deandra Roberts. Looking at the headlines, Barbados will be made a republic sometime in the not too distant future. 4 men charged for the biggest bank robbery ever in the Cayman Islands will be sentenced this week, and bus crash in Venezuela leaves more than 10 people dead. We'll be back with these and other developments, plus a look at sports after this break.
Hey, check it out.
When it gets cold, feels like the end. There's no place to go, you know I won't give in. No, I won't give in. Keep holding on, 'cause you know we'll make it through, we'll make it.
In the news, Barbados Prime Minister, the Honourable Frondel Stewart, says in the not-too-distant future, the country will become a republic. He was speaking last evening at a DLP meeting at St. Luke Skills Training Centre. The Prime Minister said it cannot continue to make sense if after 50 years of independence, when the country got sworn in as ministers or whatever else, that they are sworn to be loyal to Her Majesty the Queen, her heirs and successors, according to God. He says the country is already a republic for all practical purposes, given that those who run the affairs of the country are chosen by the people and serve at the people's pleasure.
As we approach the 50th anniversary of independence, we have to ask ourselves some questions. We decolonized our politics, 1966. In the early 2000s, we decolonized our jurisprudence by delinking from the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council and signing on to the Caribbean Court of Justice. And the next step has to be the transition from a monarchical system of government to a republican system of government. We cannot pat ourselves on the shoulders at having gone into independence, having decolonized our politics, our decision making. We cannot pat ourselves on the shoulders at having decolonized our jurisprudence by delinking from the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council and explain to anybody, or continue to explain to anybody, why we continue to have a monarchical system.
That was Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honourable Frondel Stewart. Still in Barbados, the creative sector in that country is at the crossroad and at a crucial stage in its life cycle. It is for that reason why redefining and positioning the cultural and creative industries as a significant pillar of the economy is important. The advice and comment from National Cultural Foundation Chief Executive Officer Cranston Brown as he spoke at the inaugural Know the Business of Your Art Symposium held on the weekend. The mini-symposium was hosted by the NCF in association with the UWI Cave Hill School of Business.
Navigating your way through that compromise between commercial and creative success, recognizing that they might not always marry in the way we would mean them to, but knowing the end result can be rewarding if we see the benefits, adapt, and think outside of the box, with a view to driving the growth of our cultural creative industries forward. The sector not only has a local benefit, but it has enormous export potential and the opportunity for the generation of foreign exchange, which would strengthen our economy. One of our identified major challenges to growth within the sector, however, is the lack of a cadre of persons to take this creative entrepreneurship beyond survival to becoming sustainable. That was
the National Cultural Foundation Chief Executive Officer Cranston Brown. David Tomasa, George Mignot, Rennie Cole and Andrew Burton showed no emotion as the jury foreman read out the guilty verdicts Friday afternoon in the Cayman Islands. The convictions were secured thanks to Marlon Dillon, who was part of the gang and did a deal with police and was given a reduced sentence. This report is from Cayman 27.
After a 7-week trial, a jury of 4 men and 8 women took a little over 7 hours to reach their verdicts. Guilty on all charges. Although not inside the bank on the day of the heist, David Tomasa was the organiser, planning the entire robbery. George McNaught was one of the gunmen, seen here wearing a grey hooded top and forcing the security guard on the floor. Rene Cole was a distraction man. Here he is chatting to the guard under the pretense he was cashing a cheque just moments before the robbers burst in. And Andre Burton, the getaway driver. The convictions were secured thanks to Marlon Dillon, who was one of the gang and can be seen here taking part in the robbery. He did a deal with police and was given a reduced sentence. A fifth man, Ryan Edwards, seen here passing a bag stuffed with cash over the counter, was not on trial, having already been jailed for his part in the heist.
The four convicted will learn their fate this Wednesday, March 25th. Finally in the news, at least 11 people died and 36 were injured on a central Venezuelan highway when a bus lost control and went off the road into a lake, local authorities reported yesterday. The crash took place on the Central Regional Highway along the stretch linking Caracas with the city of Valencia, the Bolivian National Police said via Twitter. According to the authorities, who provided few details about the accident, the bus lost control and went into a lake near a dam in the town of Zuata. Local media said that the public bus was en route from the eastern city of Puerto La Cruz near Maraca, capital of the central state of Aruga. A similar accident killed 20 people and injured 10 more last June when a bus crashed into a tree along the same stretch of road. That's a wrap of news. Up next, a look at sports. In sports, Chris Gayle intends to keep playing international cricket with his eyes on the 2016 World 2020, but he admitted his back injury will sideline him from next month's Test series against England. The 35-year-old Jamaican hit a typically flamboyant 33-ball 61 as West Indies slumped to a crushing 143-run defeat to New Zealand in the World Cup quarterfinals on Saturday, with many in the game expecting Gayle to end his roller coaster relationship with the national team. But the veteran of 103 tests and 269 ODIs intends to keep playing and is keen to help West Indies to the World T20 in India next year, where they will look for a second title to add to their 2012 triumph. Jamaica's mixed doubles and men's double pair were knocked out of the 2015 International Badminton Championship being held at the Alfred Sangster Auditorium at the University of Technology on Saturday. Kathleen Winter and Wilroy Miles, who are Jamaica's best hope of reaching a final, suffered a heavy defeat in the mixed doubles. In the first semi-final, Jamaica's pair of Dennis Coke and Michaelia Haldane fought hard, but outclassed 19-21, 21-16, and 14-21 by Solis Jonathan and Nike Alexandra Sotomayor from Guatemala. All finals were scheduled to be played last evening. That's Wrap on Sports, a recap of the headlines straight ahead.
Hey, check it out.
When it gets cold, feels like the end. There's no place to go, you know I won't give in. No, I won't give in. Keep holding on, 'cause you know we'll make it through, we'll make it.
Recapping the headlines making news. Barbados will be made a republic sometime soon. 4 men charged for the biggest bank robbery ever in the Cayman Islands will be sentenced this week, and bus crash in Venezuela leaves more than 10 persons dead. For the latest in news, sports and other developments in the region, remember to log on to WhatsAppCaribbean.com, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. This was a Carib Fire production. Thanks for joining us.